we are going to start a fresh chapter, that is that okay, that is the compressor. So today we are going to discuss on applications of compressors and how many classifications are going to be there and where these compressors are going to be used. All this we will discuss, and finally the main purpose of studying compressors in our AC engines. What is the main purpose? We will know later. Okay, so the main, I already told you what is the main purpose of compressor here. Nothing but whatever the air intake is there, that pressurized air, whatever the atmospheric pressure with which the air is going to get into the engine is there, that is not sufficient. Whatever the pressure within the air, that is not sufficient. So we need to compress air. That means we need to pressurize the air, and after that pressurizing, we are going to send it into the engine so that the temperature will be reached its self-ignition temperature. Whatever the air film mixture is there, that will reach its self-ignition temperature easily. So that is the purpose of compressor in IC engine. Not only in IC engine, several things are there which are in common. First of all, this is the function of compressor here. Function of compressor is nothing but to deliver whatever, whether it may be a low pressure or high pressure, to deliver it at a required pressure. Not only high pressure, it can also deliver some low pressure at low pressures also. That is the main thing. Not only the high pressure, it can also deliver some low pressures also. So to deliver high pressure air or low pressure air, the thing which is going to be, or the function is going to be different. Okay, to deliver high pressure, we are going to compress it. Okay, and the compressor is also used to suck the air. Okay, for suppose if we see the condenser, uh, where in condenser what we will do, some of the air has to be removed. That means there will be below atmospheric pressures. So to maintain below atmospheric pressures, with the help of compressors, we are going to squeeze some of the air from the condenser. Okay, so that's the purpose here within the condenser with the help of compressor. So there are a lot of applications for these compressors in many areas. First of all, the function of compressor is to take a definite quantity of fluid. So the compressor is a device, it will take some definite quantity of fluid and deliver it at a required pressure. Okay, in between there are a lot of changes are going to take place. That means it may be a compression or it may be an exhaustion, like that. Okay, there are many applications, but the main function of compressor is to take in some air and deliver it at required pressure, whether it may be a low pressure or whether it may be a high pressure. Okay, that depends upon the type of application. That is what the main function of compressor here. And the air compressor takes in atmospheric air, compresses it and delivers the high pressure air to a storage vessel, from which it may be conveyed by the pipeline to wherever the supply of compressed air is required. So this is one of the main application of compressors. Here it will take some air, it will after taking it, it will compress it by some other means. We will know how it is going to compress in for coming classes or today itself, if time permits, and deliver some high pressure air. Okay, wherever it is required, there it is going to deliver that high pressure air. Okay, that is the function of compressor here. And a classification, mainly in compressors we are going to have two types of classifications. We can call that as reciprocating compressor and rotary compressor. This one, reciprocating compressor and rotary compressor. Depending upon the type of action, it is divided into two types, and depending upon number of stages, it is divided into two types. Okay, one is under reciprocating compressors, mainly the subdivision was depending upon number of stages, and another subdivision was depending upon type of action. Okay, in single stage there will be number of stages. That means number of cylinders are going to increase. Single stage means it may contain only one cylinder. In multi stage, number of cylinders are going to increase. Okay, that means at how many stages it is going to take to increase the pressure to a required pressure. That's what single stage or multi stage. Next, coming to the single acting or double acting, there will be a piston here. If you see, there will be a piston here, and to that piston, if only one side of the piston is going to give output, then it will be called as a single acting. And then what is double acting? If we have a piston and both actions, if it is reciprocating in this way or in this way, if it is going to do work on both the actions, if it is moving further or if it is moving forward or if it is moving backward, in both the at both times the work is going to be produced, that will comes under double acting. If single acting means only one side of piston is going to do work, then we will call it as single acting. If both sides of the piston is going to do work, then it will be a double acting reciprocating compressor. And the second next compressor is rotary compressor. In this rotary compressor, there are a lot of classifications are there. Mostly one of it was single or double entry type. This is regarding rotary compressors. There are several types. Okay, I will tell you these rotary compressors. In rotary compressors, there are two types of compressors. I will show you later. For now, it is going to be classified as a single or double entry type. That means depending upon the entry. Okay, there will be a rotary compressor. In that impeller will be there. For that impeller, the entry is going to be different. If it is going to have only one entry, then it will comes under single entry. And if on both sides of that impeller, if it is going to have opening, that means if it is going to take air from both sides, then it will be called as double entry. I will show you this with the help of diagram just to know. Okay, these are the just the classification of this. And air compressors not only classified as above, as per the aspect of the use to which they are put. Okay, these are also classified as per the use to which they are put. For example, air pumps and exhausters are used to produce vacuum. Here, there will be air pumps here. Why air pumps or exhausters are there? They will suck some air and they can produce some vacuum within that. Okay. For suppose a room is there. I need to make it negative pressure. I need to maintain negative pressures within that room. Okay, for some application purpose. So what I need to do, I will use a compressor and remove the whole air within the room. So that it will become a vacuum space. In that way also we can classify. And there will be other classifications like blowers and superchargers. This is the main application for us. Okay, when it comes to IC engines, these are the main things which we are going to use: blowers and superchargers, where the pressure is going to be delivered from 0.7 to 1.05 bar. Okay, at these pressures, these blowers and superchargers are going to be delivered. That means at these pressures, so actually atmospheric air is 1 bar. Okay, but by using superchargers we can increase that to 1.05 bar. Or by using blowers means they will produce some air, they will deliver some air at somewhat high pressure. Okay, continuously they will blow some air wherever, if you say caves, in caves there may be no air, right? So to provide air, they will use blowers. Okay, they will receive some air from outside of the caves, and they will provide through certain pipelines, they will provide that air into the caves, right? So in that way the blowers are going to be used nothing but to create some high pressure air and to flow wherever it is required, right? That is blowers and superchargers. And a booster is an air or gas compressor which is employed to raise the pressure. A booster will be there, that means a booster compressor will be there. If you want to raise the pressure, then we will use this booster. That means it will boost the pressure, okay, to a certain required pressure. That's what the classification, mainly the classification of this one, reciprocating and rotary. Within the reciprocating, depending upon the number of stages, it is going to be classified. It is subdivision, which is single stage or multi stage depending upon number of cylinders. And next one is single acting or double acting. Single acting means only one side of piston is going to do or produce work, then it will be single acting. And if both sides of the piston are going to produce work, then it will comes under double acting. And rotary compressors, there are a lot of classifications are there, which we call them as positive displacement and dynamic compressors. In that positive displacement, we are going to have single or double entry. And air compressors are not only above, they are also classified as per their use. As per their usage, they are also classified. Like air pumps and exhausters, which can produce vacuum. That means with the help of vacuum pumps is there now, there will be uh, which can create some vacuum. They will remove air from such particular things and will give the vacuum. That means no air is going to be there. They will empty without. That means they will suck the air. And next, blowers and superchargers, where they are going to produce some 0.7 to 1.05 bar pressures of air or anything or any fluid. Also, it can deliver. A booster is an another classification. So this is about the classification. Next, coming to applications, where we use these applications. Coming to applications, it is widely employed for powering small engines, and here the compressed air is used in such diversified fields as operating tools and factories. For suppose, if you want to move the tools from one factory to another, that means one place to another place. Okay, there will be some vacuum pressure plates are going to be there. With the help of that vacuum pressure plates or hydraulic plates, they will carry those tools from one place to another place. Not only tools, some of the equipment also they can move by using that vacuum plates. Okay, and that is one application. Next, coming to next application was operating drills and hammers in road building. In road building, they will be their compressors will be used for operating drills and hammers. Okay, next, excavating, tunneling and mining. In all these cases, the compressors are going to be used. Starting diesel engines, tunneling and starting diesel engines, and operating brakes on buses. You see, some of on some buses you will see that air brakes are going to be there. It will be on a bus. They are given as advertisement on the bus, like air brakes are there within this bus, like that. Okay, so that brakes are the applications of these compressors only. Air brakes, we can call them as pneumatic brakes also. Technical term was pneumatic brakes. For other people to understand easily, they were called as air brakes. Operating brakes on buses, trucks and trains, they will use some compressors. With the help of those compressors, they will apply brakes uh, depending upon the requirement. So that is one. And a large quantity of air at moderate pressure is used in smelting of various metals, like melting iron, blowing converters, and cupola. That means in all these, for melting iron or blowing converters, all these the air at moderate pressure is going to be used. Large quantities of air are used in air conditioning. Okay, in air conditioning also we can see the application of compressors. And drying and ventilation fields also we can see the application of this. In many of these cases, there is little resistance to the flow of air, and hence it does not have to be compressed. Okay, only a little of resistance is going to be there. So it there is no need of compressing it, but decrease in volume is going to be there. For such cases, fans serve the purpose of moving the air to the desired location. At these at this case, fans will serve. That means fans will direct this air to desired location. In other cases, particularly in drying work, there is appreciable resistance to the flow of air, and a compressor of some sort is required to build up sufficient pressure to overcome the resistance to flow. That means to overcome the resistance, a compressor is going to be used here to deliver the pressure, or sorry, to deliver the air to certain places. There will be some resistance, high level resistance is going to be there. To eradicate or to eliminate that resistance, some pressurized air going to be utilized to direct that flow to a required destination. So there will be some fans are going to be used here. So these are the applications of such compressors in different diversified areas, and the usage of these compressors are very high. In every industry you can see the application of compressor. Any equipment is can be handled with the compressor. Okay, with the help of compressor, lot of applications are going to are there, right? Next, coming to that, a compressor set, how this compressor is going to be arranged, and how it is going to deliver some compressed air. First of all, there will be some air here. Source means air here, and within that there may be some heat is also going to be there. First of all, it will be sent to the prime mover, and from before sending, that means if any heat is going to be there, that heat to be rejected here. That heat is absorbed and rejected here, and somewhat air at a certain required temperature is sent into the compressor. After doing work, that means after removing heat within the air, that air is sent to the compressor here. Here, this compressor, and sorry, here a prime mover is there to do some work on the compressor. Okay, we will take low pressure air. Okay, and within the compressor, some work has to be done. Why? Because to compress the air, there we need some work. So how work is going to be achieved from the prime mover here? Okay, we know how how work can be done. Okay, prime mover means here nothing but which can give work to the compressor here, like turbine, or else if we see IC engine, some of the power which is developed at the crankshaft is given to the compressor here. To run the compressor, we will use some prime mover, right? That prime mover can be IC engine, can be turbine, like that. Depending upon the application, this prime mover is going to be changing. That means it will give some work to the compressor. Why? Because it has to compress some work, right? It has to compress the air. To compress the air, it needs some work. That work is given by this prime mover. And this primer, how this prime mover is going to work? There will be a heat source here, and by doing some of the work by using IC engine or any other type, it will utilize some of the work done here to run the compressor. Okay, so it will comes under loss of the IC engine also. Some of the work is utilized, whatever is produced within the IC engine is utilized to run the compressor, right? Here low pressure air is going to take, and work from prime mover is going to convert that low pressure air to the compressed air. And and if there is any heat is going to be there within the air, that is through some of this, we will say as a loss here. Some of the heat is going to be utilized here, dissipated into the atmosphere. Why? Because there is no such protection is there. That insulation is not provided for this compressor. If there is no insulation, some heat loss will be there. So that means some low pressure air is going to increase its pressure, means automatically the temperature is also going to increase, right? As these pressure and temperature are directly proportional, pressure increases, temperature also increases. So some of the heat is going to uh, be radiated, and also some coolant is going to be there uh, to reduce the temperature of this compressor also, right? In that way, the arrangement of compressor is going to be there. With the help of some of the prime mover, we are going to run the compressor by utilizing the work produced. Only some of the work produced here is going to be utilized by the compressor to change the low pressure air to high pressure air or compressed air, right? That is the arrangement of compressor. And next, coming to the, 1 minute please. Okay, see here, this is a reciprocating compressor, single stage. uh, 1 minute. Okay, see here, reciprocating compressor, which is of I already said there will be multi-stage compressor or single stage compressor. First of all, we are going to discuss reciprocating compressor, which is of single stage. So So this is the working principle of reciprocating compressor, which is very very important question. In exam, definitely you will see either a reciprocating compressor or a rotary compressor theory in this unit. Definitely, working principle of any of the reciprocating compressor or rotary compressor he must. So keep some uh, mind on it. That means please study all these things which are very easy to understand as well as very easy to write. So this is somewhat very easy chapter. So please go through it, right? Don't neglect this. And also as per the pattern of previous semester exams, from third unit we will get two questions, right? So which are you can easily answer those two questions if they ask from this unit. Definitely if the pattern doesn't changes, you may be, you may choose this unit as one of the good, which is very easy for you as well as to study and write. Okay. So this is reciprocating compressor, and which is a single stage compressor. We will discuss the next two stage compressor or multi stage compressor after this. First of all, this is the working principle of reciprocating compressor, which is of single stage, is similar to the IC engine only. As like IC engine working principle is there, the same working principle here also in a reciprocating compressor only. Okay, this reciprocating compressor working principle is same as IC engine only. See, first of all, we will know the design of reciprocating single stage compressor. See, first of all, there will be a piston is going to be there within the cylinder. This is the these are the provisions for water jackets. Okay, these are the provisions for water jackets, and this is the cylinder, and this is the piston. As the engine, we have connecting rod here, and this is the crankshaft, and this is the crank here, and air intake is going to be there, and air out is going to be there, and this is the inlet valve, and this is the delivery valve. See, the same, the constructional features of reciprocating compressor is same as IC engine, right? So it will be easy for you if you know the working principle of IC engine. Definitely this is easy for you to know the working principle of reciprocating compressor, which is of single stage, right? So this is the constructional features of a single stage reciprocating compressor. And now we go for working principle, how it is going to work. Okay, in single stage, in reciprocating compressor of single stage, we are going to have two strokes. One is induction stroke, and the other one is exhaust stroke. Okay, or a delivery stroke. Here we will call, only the names are going to change. One is induction stroke and the other one is delivery stroke. Only two strokes. Okay, one is induction and the other one is delivery stroke. So only the names are going to change. Okay, one is induction and the other one is delivery. See here, when the piston here, this piston is going to reciprocate within the cylinder as like in IC engine only. See, whenever this piston is going to reciprocate in this cylinder here, see, whenever the induction stroke is nothing but whenever the piston is going to move from upwards to downwards. Okay, when this piston moves from upwards to downwards, that means the induction stroke is nothing but when the piston moves downwards, then we will call that stroke as induction stroke. During this stroke, see here, the main important thing is inlet valve and delivery valve. How these valves are going to be mechanized? Okay, these valves will depend upon the pressure differential type. These two valves are nothing but these are of pressure differential type. Okay, so at certain pressure only these will open and these will close. At certain pressure only it is going to open and it is going to close, right? At particular pressure only this will open and close. At particular pressure only it will open, and at particular pressure only it is going to close. So at what pressure it is going to open and what pressure it is going to close, I will tell you now, right? So whenever the piston is going to be in downward stroke, that means during induction stroke there will be certain residual gases are going to be there from the previous cycle, right? So those will increase whenever these are going to expand. Okay, during induction stroke whenever these are going to expand. So these residual gases expansion creates some pressure on the inlet. Okay, at certain pressure, whenever certain pressure is going to be reached, at that particular pressure, this air inlet valve, okay, this inlet valve is going to open now. And whenever certain pressure is going to be there, that means the whole pressure is, that means whatever the pressure within the air is going to get into this cylinder, what happens, this is going to move downwards, right? Air, the whole air is going to taken into it, right? Now the air has taken in, and whenever the piston is going to move upwards, whenever the piston is going to move upwards, there will be some raise in pressure. Because of that raise in pressure, what happens to this inlet valve, this inlet valve is going to be applied at high pressure. Okay, and at the same time there will be seating for this pressure, and also the limit for this inlet valve, there will be limiting will be there. Okay, that means this inlet valve doesn't over open, it it doesn't open overly, so it will open for a slight opening. So there will be limiting also for this opening, there will be certain opening will be there, that means certain limiting is going to be there. At the bottom, there will be some seating for this inlet valve is going to be there. So whenever it reaches bottom dead center, there may be somewhat just the, whenever the piston is about to move upwards, there will be certain region pressure. So at that pressure, because of increase in pressure, automatically this, whenever the piston is just about bottom dead center, just above the bottom dead center, it is going to close because of reaching certain pressure. So this is going to close now. Okay, during a delivery stroke, now here a delivery stroke means it is going to move upwards until it reaches stop dead center. Until the piston reaches stop dead center, it is going to be, both the walls are going to be in a closed position, these two walls are going to be closed position. And whenever the piston is about to reach the top dead center, whenever the piston is about to reach the top dead center, for suppose if this is the top dead center, when the piston is here, the delivery pressure, at what pressure, these two valves are predetermined. That means at what pressure, at the required pressure, at what pressure the air has to be delivered, at that pressure these valves will be opened. Okay, automatically. These are mechanized in such a way, using spring balance or using springs or some other mechanism. They are predetermined pressures are going to be there. At that pressures these will open and close. At the in the same way, the delivery valve also opens at certain pressure. Whenever this is about to reach the top dead center, this is going to open and hold the whole gas which is pressurized. So under closed container, if a glass, that means the volume is decreased, what happens, the pressure within this volume is going to increase. So whenever it reaches required pressure, whatever, at what pressure we are the requirement is there, at that pressure this delivery valve is going to be opened. That means it will come off from its seat. This will be the seat for delivery valve, and this will be the seat for inlet valve. Okay, this will, whenever the pressure is going to reach, this is going to lift upwards. Okay, and there will be certain limiting also, there will be certain limiting, that means it doesn't overflow, that means it doesn't it doesn't open in more with more space. Why? Because the discharge is going to be changing. The discharge will changes, that means the flow rate is going to change. So there will be limiting here. Only the particular quantity at particular time is going to be delivered for the required position. So since these valves are operating in accordance with the pressure, we are going to call these valves as pressure differential valves. Okay, at certain pressure only these will open, and if the pressure increases, then it will close. Here, if the pressure increases, it will open, and whenever the whole pressurized air is delivered to the required system, whenever within the cylinder the pressure is going to reach its normal position, then it will come down, right? So in that way, these valves are going to open and we are going to deliver. Okay, this is during delivery stroke. Okay, the compressed air is going to be taking. So this is the inverse induction stroke. During this, the piston move downwards and the crank is going to rotate 180 degrees for every reciprocation of piston. That means if the piston moves from top dead center to bottom dead center, it will take 180 degrees. Okay, and here also, if it moves from down bottom dead center to top dead center, it will take another 180 degrees. Okay, that is the crank rotation here. And as I said, this is the induction stroke. During this, inlet valve opens, and whenever the pressure is somewhat in accordance, that means if it reaches predetermined pressure, then only it is going to open. And whenever the piston is about just above top dead center, bottom dead center, then it will close because of high pressure. It will close, and and both the walls are going to be in closed position. And whenever this it is under the air is under certain volume, and if it is going to decrease its volume, the pressure is going to mount up heavily. And whenever required pressure is reached, then this delivery valve will be opened. This is the case. Okay, then this delivery valve is going to open. At the time, this through this delivery valve, the whole air is going to get into the required device. What in which way we need, to what equipment we need to deliver. For that equipment, we are going to deliver with the help of some pipes. Okay, there will be some pipe system. With the help of those pipes, we are going to deliver the required amount of pressurized air to that particular system. Okay, that is the working principle, which is very very important for you uh, in a reciprocating compressor of single stage. Next, coming to reciprocating single stage PV and TS diagram. Okay, I will explain this while we are going through the working. There will be working work done, we need to discuss. Okay, after classification and working principles of all the things, I will tell you the PV diagram and TS diagram. Why? Because we need to use this while doing work done by the compressor, single stage compressor. Then I will explain you this PV diagram and TS diagram. Okay, now it's okay. First of all, we will go through all the compressors on and its working principles. And after that, we have only the whole. That means we need to calculate work done, efficiency, isometric efficiency, thermal efficiency, compressor efficiency, and all those we need to study. And there will be some clearance is going to be there. And what is the effect with clearance and without clearance volume, all this will be there. Okay, one separate thing, that means on reciprocating compressors, we will go in depth only on reciprocating compressors, not on all the compressors. On reciprocating compressors, we will go on depth, like working principle, sorry, work done, efficiency, and all those clearance volume, what is the effect of it. Several parameters are there which has to be discussed. We should go through them in depth. While going through them, I will discuss this PV and TS diagram also. Why? Because while deriving work done by the reciprocating compressor, we need to go through PV diagram and TS diagram. So these are the diagrams which will help us in many cases. Not only here, in a Rankine cycle also, PV and TS diagrams plays a major role in determining its work done and efficiency. So PV and TS to draw PV and TS diagram is very much important. You, a thermal engineer definitely should know, or a mechanical engineer definitely should know. It's how to draw PV and TS diagram depending upon the operation. Okay, confirming that, I am going to move for the next compressor, which is a reciprocating compressor. This is of multi-stage. 1 minute, please. Okay, while going through work done and all those, I will explain this PV and TS diagram. And next, coming to the reciprocating compressor of multi-stage. In this reciprocating compressor of multi-stage, we are going to have an intercooler. In between, we are going to have three cylinders here. One is low pressure cylinder, intermediate pressure cylinder, and the high pressure cylinder. See here, the number of stages are going to increase. That means number of cylinders are going to increase. If we are going to have two or more number of cylinders, then it will comes under multi-stage cylinder, multi-stage reciprocating compressor. Here also the working is similar to the single stage compressor. Whatever the working here I have explained you, the working is same for every cylinder, it is same. But here by using these number of cylinders, the input work is going to be reduced. See, why? Because here, whatever the work done here has to be done by one cylinder only. But here, the same work is going to be done by the more number of cylinders. If we do like this, the efficiency is that means the work input is going to be reduced. Why? Because here we will increase the sum of the that means some of the work is going to be done here. So whatever the work is developed here, that is going to be utilized to run this indicate another intermediate pressure cylinder. Okay, whatever the work is developed here, that is going to run the high pressure cylinder. So here the work output or work input, whatever the work input we have to give, that is going to be reduced here. I already told you, there we need a some prime mover is needed. Why we need a prime mover? To run the compressor we need some prime mover. So we have to utilize some of the work from the prime mover. But if you use a multi-stage compressor, so the work which is going to be taken from this prime mover is going to be reduced if you use multi-stage compressor. That is the advantage of this multi-stage compressor here. Here we are going to take some of the work and we will use that to increase some of the pressure with the help of low pressure cylinder. So some of the work is going to be there, and whatever the work developed here, it is going to run the next indicated power cylinder and high pressure cylinder with the help of diagram. While discussing work done, I will show you with the help of diagram, with the help of PV and TS diagram, how work input is going to be reduced, right? And within these cylinders we have used intercoolers. Why we are going to use intercooler? Why? Because if we raise the temperature and if we directly send that to the intermediate pressure cylinder, what happens? There may be some heat is going to be there. With the increase in pressure, automatically temperature also increases. So we are going to compress that so whatever the compressed air is there, that is going to have some heat also. So with the help of some intercooler, we are going to reduce the temperature. Why? Because if we send the same air to next cylinder without any intercooler, without passing through intercooler, what happens? The temperature also increases enormously. So if the temperature is going to increase, in some of the applications we don't need temperature, only the pressure is going to be utilized, but not the temperature. So in that cases or in that applications, we need to remove the temperature. So that's why, to remove the temperature within the pressurized air, as the air is pressurized, what happens? Definitely the temperature improves. So to reduce the temperature of that compressed air, we are going to use intercooler in between the cylinders. Whatever may be the intermediate cylinder or high pressure, in between these two also we are going to use an intercooler. Okay, now what is the function of this intercooler? This intercooler will reduce the temperature but increases, that means at a constant pressure. Okay, whatever the pressure it has taken, it will deliver the same the air at same pressure, but it reduces the temperature. Okay, that is the main thing here, or the main purpose of intercooler here within the multi-stage compression. The working principle is same. Okay, here within the cylinder we are going to have induction stroke, delivery stroke, and after compression, at certain pressure only the exhaust valve, or sorry, delivery valve is going to be opened, and it is sent to the intercooler to reduce the temperature, and again it is sent to the intermediate pressure cylinder, where some of the pressure is further increased, and again sent to intercooler, where the temperature is going to be reduced, and again sent to the high pressure cylinder, where the pressure ratio is going to be high here. So if we need to here the main thing here is we are going to give high pressures by using some low work only. Low work input is going to be minimized here. Okay, I will show you with the help of diagram how work input is going to be reduced in coming classes. Next, coming to rotary compressors. Here, the rotary compressors are classified. I already told you, I will tell you the classifications in rotary compressors. So, these are the rotary compressors here. Here, there are mainly two types of compressors are going to be there. One is displacement compressor or positive displacement compressor, and the other one is steady flow or non-positive displacement compressor. Coming to displacement compressors, what is the difference between positive displacement and non-positive displacement compressors? Here in displacement positive displacement compressors, whatever the material we are going to use, that means for suppose in displacement compressors we will use piston. Okay, we will use piston. So because of rupture between several parts, this piston is going to wear off. So there will be some clearance is going to be there after certain usage. After the usage of that compressor for certain period, there may be some clearance. That means because of rupture, there may be some wear is going to be there, so there may be some void is going to be created. So that's why we are going to call this as positive displacement. That means the displacement may change after certain period of usage. After certain period of usage, the displacement is going to change. That means there may be some clearance formed in between the working mediums. Okay, so that's why we are going to call it as positive displacement compressors. In steady flow compressors, there is no piston. Here we use the impeller or some other types of some other replacement materials we are going to use. Instead of using piston, we will use centrifugal type or axial flow compressors we are going to use. Different things we are going to use. So there is no direct contact between the stator and the rotor here. Here mainly we are going to have stator and rotor. Here we are not going to have stator or rotor. Some other different things are going to be there. So an impeller is going to be there. Mostly here an impeller is going to be there. So there is no direct contact between the two materials is going to be there. Here the centrifugal compressor, there will be an impeller, and on that impeller we are going to flow some fluid. So